Hi, everybody. Hi, how are you guys doing tonight? Good. Okay, great. I'm Deb Bosco. I'm one of the career service counselors here at KENDALL. I specifically work with the culinary, baking, and pastry students. So tonight we're just going to take some time and go through what we do in career services. What makes KENDALL unique, or one of the things that makes KENDALL unique, is that we have really great career services. And so I'm going to go through that and what does that mean to a college student, and what's the implications to that. So just by show of hands, how many people are interested in culinary? All right, yay, culinary. Okay, baking and pastry. All right, great, baking and pastry. So you would be working with me very closely. Do I have anyone for hospitality? Great. Okay, hospitality, business. Okay, and early childhood education. All right, great. So don't worry, there's power in numbers. They're coming. Okay, so again, welcome. If you have any questions, just let me know. Don't hesitate to raise your hand. Again, there's snacks and beverages if you need to get anything, and if you need to use the restroom, you just go back out the door. And ladies, it's you'll see the signs on the left-hand side, right before the elevators, and gentlemen, for you, it's just past the elevators on the left-hand side. Okay, so again, we're talking about career services and what the impact of that is for students. So what we're going to talk about is just a general intro to the department. We'll talk about networking, why college is important, work style assessment that we're going to do for a couple of minutes, finding work here in Chicago, what we do in career services specifically, and something that we like to talk about called FAB'S. So facts, accomplishments, and benefits that you want to highlight in your resume. And then we're going to have some of our alumni come back, and you can ask them some questions and they can tell you about their experience here at KENDALL. So as I mentioned, I'm Deb Bosco. I'm actually a graduate of KENDALL. I graduated from the culinary program and the hospitality management program a long, long time ago. And as an alum, I could tell you it was one of the best decisions I ever made. My background is food and beverage management. Even though I went through culinary school, kind of through there, I realized, I think I really want to be what we call front of the house. So on my internship, I worked at a Marriott in Oak Brook, and I loved it. And I did an internship there. I stayed there for a while, but I realized I really liked management. And I also realized that I really liked service. And the benefit here is in culinary and in hospitality and baking and pastry, you have the opportunity to take a fine dining class, and you get to actually see the customers, talk to the customers, and it's really great because you get to see them actually enjoying what you produce. And I think that's something that makes us unique as well. So it's not just you're cooking and producing and baking and you never hear the accolades. You actually have that opportunity to go out there and hear what the customer has to say about what you've done. And I fell in love with the service aspect, and that's where my career kind of took a change. So I always intended on going through the hospitality program, but I worked in what we call front of the house, where I'm actually a guest-facing person. From there, I worked in downtown Chicago hotels in food and beverage management, restaurant, bar, room service. That led into catering, banquets, sales. Then I got recruited to become an instructor. So I've been in education for about 17 years. 10 of those years, almost 11, is here at KENDALL. So I absolutely believe in the program. I think it's a great, solid program. The faculty's great, staff is great, and the reputation is incredible. So we're going to talk, that's my background. And I tell you this because it's not just I'm going to go to culinary school and be a cook, because a lot of things can change with that. Or I'm going to be, a baker and I'm going to open up my own bakery. It can lead to a lot of other things. Same thing in hospitality. That is huge business, huge early childhood education. We have a testimonial from one of our alums about what she's done. So a lot of great opportunities. And part of what we do in career services is help you explore those possibilities. So it's not just a cook or a pastry cook. It's so much more than that. Right? So what we do here is we talk about benefits and the benefits to networking. So I can tell you I've never applied for a job based on a job ad. It's always been through who I know. And that's something that here at KENDALL, we certainly focus on networking. We have a lot of networking events for students, for graduates, for business professionals come in. We have pretty much on Fridays when we teach most of our professional development classes. So we have owners, we have managers, we have general managers coming in, and the students have the opportunity, because they're students of KENDALL, that they could meet with these industry leaders, and they develop relationships, and they go out on what we call a stage for culinary students, where they actually go and they work one full shift in a professional kitchen. They also do, all the students do at least one internship. So a lot of times those students are able to get the internships because they meet somebody at a networking event, or doing volunteer work, or there's some kind of event going on here at the school that the students get involved in, and we encourage them to talk to people, have their resume, mingle, network, and you develop those relationships, and those always seem to turn into internship possibilities, full-time positions. And I'm always amazed. We're a very, very big industry, but we're so incredibly small. So I've always worked in Chicago, and I know hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's amazing. It always comes full circle. And I would say probably every week I run into somebody that I worked with, either at a property or I did some kind of project with. And it's really great. And KENDALL certainly fosters that, and that's really beneficial. So you want to strengthen and build those connections, and also, again, future possibilities. And, you know, if you, again, I cannot stress that enough. Most of you will get positions based on somebody recommended you, or somebody said, hey, this is a good opportunity. I know you. This would be a good fit. So we certainly foster that. We talk about an elevator speech or pitch. Has anyone ever heard of that, elevator pitch? What is it? Okay, so imagine you get into, you're right, so imagine you get into an elevator, and the person that owns the restaurant you want to work for, or owns, you know, or is a GM at the hotel you want to work at, gets in the elevator with you, and you took that elevator up to, we have 8 floors, or up to the 8th floor. What would you possibly want that person to know about you? So that's something that we teach and we practice here in our professional development classes, is how do you get that? Because it's really important. I mean, how many of you like to go on interviews? Right, nobody, right? It's very stressful. So today I was doing mock interviews with my students because I want them to be comfortable. And I tell my students, I said, this is the most important selling job you'll ever do, selling yourself. And I always ask them, why do you want to work for this company? Why do you want to work, you know, at, you know, Sweet Mandy B's? Why do you want to work at the Peninsula? And I don't know is not a good answer, right? So we want to get them very comfortable. And that's something else we do, is we build up the confidence. Prospective students, you're going to learn. You're going to learn a lot of things here. And we want you to be very confident and comfortable expressing that to potential employers. And that's something that we really work on here. Okay, so what do you cover? You talk about who you are. So who you are and what do you want? I'm a culinary student here at KENDALL College. I really would love an opportunity to work in your restaurant. I had an opportunity, you know, to have dinner at your restaurant. I was really impressed with it. I stopped at your hotel. It's beautiful. Wow, the guest service is fantastic. I would really love an opportunity to see that. So how, can you say that eloquently? Can you say that clearly? And so we work on that with you. And how do you listen to people and hook on to what they're saying? And how do you have that conversation? Because I know it's really awkward. How many people like to make small talk? Again, same thing like with the interview, right? It's difficult. Well, we talk you through that. And again, we have networking events, and it's a very safe environment here. And we're going to teach you how to do that so you feel very comfortable, so that you could sell yourself. Okay. And then how do you step away? Okay. So we teach you all those, what we call soft skills, people skills. How do you do that? Because a lot of times that interview and that human one-on-one contact is what gets you the job. So that's what we're going to talk about. So we're going to practice for a minute. So we're going to take about 5 minutes, and what I'd like you to do, get up and meet each other. So I want, if you can talk to 2 people and find out some information about them. And I want to see how you interact, how do you engage, what do you find out about that person, and then how you close it out. And you can't go to your parents and do that. I saw you. So let's take about 5 minutes and do that, okay? Okay, so we're going to get back to it. So how was that experience? Good? How many people felt awkward? Like, this is weird. Anybody? No, see, good. See, we're friendly. Look, you're already being transformed because we're a hospitality school, right? So what did you learn about your neighbors, your colleagues here? Does anyone want to share? Yeah. Oh, okay. So what area is that? Yeah. I'm a South Sider. Go Sox, right? You can always get a ticket, right? You could, right? Yeah. So I work with some Cubs fans. Oh, it's awful, but yeah. So don't worry. Yeah, there's more and more Southsiders coming, so I'm happy. Well, that's great. Yeah. See, and this is what I'm talking about. Is that now this is a connection, right? So imagine doing this in your careers. And it's amazing. I'm telling you, I've been in the industry for over 30 years, and I am still to this day astounded every time. I'm like, holy cow, you know so and so, or you have a connection, and it really does make an impact. And a lot of times, those little connections is what gives you the edge. So again, one of the things we teach is that how do you use that? How do you parlay that into something that could become a job offer or a good working relationship down the line? So that's great. That's a great example. Anybody else want to share what they learned from a neighbor? No? No? Hi, I'm Deborah Bosco. Hi, Veronica. So what brings you to Kendall? Okay, so what is it about culinary arts that you enjoy? So Veronica says that she really likes to be creative and how you can how that can get translated into food. So now I see, okay, I know somebody here that's creative and she has passion. She's excited. You could see it. She's like, you could see it. You light up, right? And that's what we want. We want you to feel real comfortable and confident saying that. So now I know Veronica really likes to be creative. So that's going to help me. I'm thinking in the back of my head, hey, I know I have a project going on. And I need someone that's creative. Maybe I'm working with chocolates, and this happens all the time. So we just did For Love of Chocolate here over the weekend, and they came in, and they did chocolate centerpieces. So I'm thinking, wow, you would be a good candidate to volunteer for that. So maybe one of our pastry instructors would come up to her. Now I know you, and I can come up to you and say, hey, Veronica, this is a student I remember I met her, and she's interested in being creative, and maybe she would like to come to this event, and I'm going to connect with you. And I'm going to connect you with the person in charge, and maybe we can get you connected with the chef, and then maybe the chef's going to say, hey, come on in and why don't you spend a day with me, and that can lead into an internship, which could lead into full-time employment. And Mom and Dad like that a lot, right? Yeah, okay. So that's how career services works. Those are one of the things that we do. Because I know the money's coming up, right? Everyone wants to know what kind of jobs are you going to get? How much money are you going to be able to make? So hang on, folks. It's coming. Uh-oh. Could you forward this? Thanks, Kate. Technology, blessing and a curse. Thank you. Okay, so here we go. So why come to Kendall? Well, we're a great place, okay? So we're a great opportunity. It's a great place, good education, good faculty. But look at your earning potential down the line. Okay, so an associate's degree, a 2-year program. Okay, so we have Associates of Applied Science in Culinary and Baking and Pastry, and the other degrees go into bachelor level. Okay, $41,000. And this is based on statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We're getting this data from. So this is what our graduates are earning, $41,000 coming out. Now, bachelor's degree, look at that increase, $59,000 on average is what our students are earning. Okay, so the potential's there. So if you don't have the degree, and here's the thing, more and more people, and the question was asked, I've been in the industry a long time. I'm thinking about maybe coming back to school. A lot of times we have people come back to school because they said, you know what, I hit a ceiling where I work. I can't move forward because I don't have the degree, right? You're shaking your head. So, Michael, you're shaking your head going, yeah, you need to have what we call that credential or that degree. That's the world nowadays. So you can go into a kitchen and you can learn how to cook, but companies want that degree. They want that formal education. And I have students that are been in the industry for some time. They're like, you know what, I just can't get that management position. I can't take that, I can't take the next step. this is certainly going to help you and give you that potential. Okay, so that's something you definitely want to consider, is that you get that, and don't forget, you get all the networking benefits, you get that formal education. And our goal for our students is not for them to be line cooks or front desk, agents. You may start off as that, and you probably will, but our goal for you is to be much higher, to be leaders in the industry. And that's how we're going to teach all of you, is that you're going to be leaders. So yes, you're going to be baby birds, and you're going to start in those entry-level positions and the teaching positions and the business positions and hospitality management and culinary and baking and pastry. Yes, but our intended goal is for you to be at a higher level upon graduation. Okay. Part of that is you have to work at it too. It's just not, I have a degree and I have these great jobs. You got to work at it. And again, we're all here to encourage you and nurture you to get to that point. Definitely more job options because of those credentials, and you're going to be exposed to a lot of different things. You're not going to learn just how to cook or just how to serve people or how to ice a cupcake. You're going to learn a lot more. You're going to learn that business sense. And I say this all the time, nobody cares how well you cook a steak, greet a guest, decorate a cupcake. If you cannot make money at it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So here at KENDALL, we teach you all of that. Okay, we teach you all those skills. And also all the different possibilities. So what do you think some of the positions you can have in culinary, in hospitality, in business, in education? What are some of the positions you think you could have? Sous chef. So for those of you who don't know what a sous chef is, that's the second in command of the kitchen. So that's a big leadership position. Yeah, absolutely. You can be a sous chef. And then above that is the executive chef, and that's the person that calls all the shots in the kitchen. That's exciting. Stressful, but exciting, right? What else could you possibly do? It depends. It can certainly be more. It's hard for me to say because it kind of depends on the market. Chicago's a good market. So we're New York, Chicago, and California. Holy moly, cost of living is sky high in California. So New York is #1 right now. California is really approaching #1, and we're #3, but we're all really close. So depending on the operation that you go to, if you go to a small place, an independent place, you're not going to make much, but you're doing it for passion and love, and this is my business. Go to a corporation, yeah, you can make in high 80s, 90s. Now that's going to take time, let me be clear. You're not going to do that upon graduation. To become an executive chef takes a lot of years. So again, we encourage you to work while you're in school. Don't work full-time. None of us will tell you to do that. So don't worry, Mom and Dad. Focus on your education. That's what we tell you. But we do encourage you to do those stages, volunteer, get some experience, because that's going to land you a better internship, a better job. And think about this. If you're working while you're going to school, even if it's part-time, it's going to show determination. It's going to show dedication, a commitment, and you're going to apply your lessons from here better. They're going to stick. You're going to get real-world experience while you're in the classroom. So now you could go back to your professors and say, Professor, I had a question. When I was at the hotel over the weekend working, I ran into this situation. Or I noticed this on our financial report. Or, Chef, I found this situation. This is what happened to us in the restaurant over the weekend. Now, Chef can give you very specific examples of why that happened, how to avoid that. Now you're taking that knowledge, you're bringing it back to your job. They're seeing that potential. Guess who's getting a promotion? And that's really how it works. So that's something that we certainly encourage, that you work part-time so that you could have more freedom, and then you can get those better positions, and you can get those a lot quicker. So some of the other positions that you can have. So I'm going to go through the different disciplines. So with culinary and baking and pastry, it's not just being a pastry cook or a savory cook. You can certainly go into management. You can go into teaching. A lot of our chef instructors were out in the industry, and then they came into teaching. They said, you know what, I want to have a little more regular life. So every one of our instructors has a lot of experience out in the industry, and they decided to come back. Even our adjuncts, our part-time instructors, a lot of them own their own businesses or restaurants, and they're like, I feel a commitment to KENDALL. I'm going to come back and I'm going to, be a guest lecturer, or they're going to support us and they're going to bring on our interns. You can go into sales. There's your favorite thing. So a lot of food companies, obviously in Chicago, we have thousands of restaurants. You can certainly go into that. You know, I took my culinary background and I went into front of the house. I was fortunate. I progressed very quickly because I understood how the food operation, and I was able to think about that and utilize that. And when I was writing menus and working with customers, I was able to explain very quickly, this would work, this wouldn't work, this is the cost of this. And it helped me, and I progressed very quickly because of that experience. Same thing, you can go into marketing. You can go into what we call R&D. Does anyone know what R&D is? Research and development, right? Anyone ever walk down the potato chip aisle? Like the snack aisle? Isn't that amazing, all the flavors they have? Right, so we work with a couple of R&D companies that they'll bring on an intern every so often, but it's amazing. So we have students that are actually developing products that you may see in a year or two down the line. So you can certainly do that. Nutrition, medical is really exploding. Well, they need food service. And if you go to these hospitals and you see that it's much more luxurious. I see some of these commercials for hospitals. It looks like you're going to a resort, right? The whole idea of managed care is very different. It's very, we look at we want everyone to be in a comfortable environment. We want to take care of them because the patient's going to heal. Well, guess what? They have to hire us. Hospitality, they have to hire culinary, they have to hire dietitians. So you can absolutely go into that. Nursing, I won't say nursing home, but airlines, yeah. United Airlines, one of really good supporter. We just start working with them. You ever hear Polaris? That's their luxury brand. Passenger lounge. It's beautiful. My colleague and I were lucky enough to go and tour this. So, these airlines, they have lounges for their really good customers. Well, the average ticket holder is spending $13,000 on a ticket. So this is the Polaris. You'll see it sometimes advertised like on Sunday during football season. I don't know why, but that's when they advertise. And I walked in, and I've been around a long time. I've seen a lot of things. My jaw dropped when I walked into their lounge. Absolutely gorgeous. High end. They're serving drinks in crystal glassware. They're using silver. It's beautiful. It's like nothing I've ever seen. And that's something that only Chicago has a Polaris lounge in the U.S. They're going to be opening more lounges in Europe and in Asia. But they decided to come to KENDALL because they said, you know what? We really like what you have. Your students have that potential. So we're really excited to help them be on the ground floor. And it's a great opportunity. So we had a student do her internship there, and she's looking to move to Asia now to help them open up the next Polaris lounge. So these are great things. So those opportunities are there, and now United is committed to saying, hey, we really didn't realize the potential in your students. We want to continue to foster those relationships. So there's a lot of things you can do. With early childhood education, of course, being an educator, but we have a lot of business owners. They open up their own support systems, and you'll see that testimonial. But, they open their own daycares, and they're doing great things. So it's not just teaching students in a classroom. It certainly goes beyond that, and it's nurturing a whole community, which is really great. In hospitality, boy, everything, you name it. Do you want to plan meetings? Do you want to run a restaurant? Do you want to be in a hotel? Do you want to run tours? You name it, you can do it. And again, of course, there's sales, there's marketing. There's so many possibilities there. You want to be a club organizer, and we have a great beverage program as well. So it's endless. It is absolutely endless. And Career Services will not say no to anything. We'll be like, yeah, we'll look into that for you. You're interested in doing this? Okay, you know what? We're going to make some phone calls. We're going to see if we get some connections. Who do we know that we can connect with? So we are absolutely committed to doing that for the students, because we won't place you. I'll be honest. We will not place you in jobs. We're going to support you while you find the job of your dreams. That's what we do. We give you the skills you need to be successful. We're going to support you in that. So I have a student that says, I want to go and work in a resort in Mexico. I'm like, okay, let's do it. Just came through yesterday. So she's ecstatic. We're ecstatic. We're trying to get a site visit, but I don't know if my boss will let me go to Mexico for 2 weeks. I'm trying. But we said, fine. I want to go to Hawaii. Okay, let's do it. I want to go, we have somebody, a lot of people are going to Spain. Anyone interested in study abroad, going or doing internships? Yeah, we'll help you. We're happy to help you. We're excited. So we have a lot of students going to Spain. We have students going to Italy, France. And, we're starting to get into, and then of course we have people that go back to, Asia, any place in Asia. We're seeing India's getting really popular. We have some people going to China. Let us know. We're here to support you. We'll help you. We're not, it's very rare we're going to say no. We always want to support you. Yep. Okay, so the question is it for bachelor's only? No. If you have the right GPA, and we can get you an approved site there, yeah, of course, you can. It doesn't matter if it's associate or bachelor's. We want you to have a good experience. And we certainly will counsel you on that too. We'll ask you, have you thought about everything? We talk about, some pitfalls that may happen. But yeah, we're here to support you. So no, it's not exclusive to just the 4-year degree. It's something for a 2-year degree as well. Okay, thank you for the questions. Great. Okay, so again, that'll give you that freedom of choice. And we do understand that your choices may change during that time too. So we're going to take another quick break, but you got some homework to do here. So in your packets, may I borrow this? Thank you. So you see this sheet. So you're going to do an assessment. So this is something else that we do in career services. So it's what we call a work style assessment. So you're going to take a couple of minutes, and everyone should have a pen, and you're just going to fill this out, and then we're going to go through and we're going to kind of see what does that mean, because not everybody wants to do the same thing, and we recognize that. So we look at we kind of assess what your likes and dislikes are, and then that helps us in career services to determine what's the best place for you to go to, what companies might be good, what positions might be good for you. So let's take maybe about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and fill that out. And if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay? Great. Okay, does anyone still need time? Everyone's good? Okay. Does anyone want to share where they fell in on this? In terms of if they're a focuser, a relator, an integrator, or an operator? So you're still kind of, yeah. Okay. So relator, so you're enthusiastic, which is great. Okay. So here we're saying, something would be guest services, talent development officer, account manager, event coordinator. So looking at, education, where does that fall in? So we would say, a program chair. That's something we would certainly recommend for you, as a future goal to look at, because yeah, if you like to do things like that, if you like to relate and you like to, organize things, that would be a great thing. And that certainly relates to education, right? A lot of coordination going on there. Is anyone a focuser? Anybody a focuser? Okay, so focuser. So yeah, you're self-starter, which is great. What I like about this assessment is we don't need everyone doing the same thing, right? We need people doing everything. I always say this in my classes. I don't need everyone working at a high-end restaurant. I need people selling, hot dogs. And that's fine. Not to say that you're selling hot dogs. Don't misinterpret me. But you need to, I look at all the sports venues we have, right? So I had a student in hospitality, and he really loved the White Sox. And I think he still does, but he loved the White Sox. And he's like, I don't know, I really want to work. And this is when it was U.S. Cellular. He goes, I really want to work there. You know what? His internship was there. He got a job there, and he was running the suites. So the luxury suites. And so we always kind of joke like, yeah, see, we need people everywhere. But he's very happy, and he works for a big company that doesn't just run that ballpark. They run a lot of sports stations and or sports stadiums and venues. So he has a great potential to move all throughout the country, and that's something, again, that we foster. Question? Okay, that's great. So focuser, sales, because you need to be outgoing, right? You just have to like the people while you're working, right? Okay, so you work in sales, line cook, educator, night auditor, project leader. So we would try to see if, gear you towards that. Anyone an integrator? Okay, so we got a couple of those. So business developer, marketing assistant, special education teacher, personal finance advisor. So yeah, you get everything going, but you want to see that end project. So we would recommend positions that would utilize those skills. Anybody an operator, a detailer? Okay, yeah, I'm very detail oriented, so I certainly get where you're coming from. Data analysis. And I'll tell you, I have people that are in asset management here at the school in the hospitality program, and they love numbers. And people, and some students will just like run from these people, but they really get excited about numbers and figuring things out. I used to teach cost control. I love it because to me it's like a puzzle. I look at my financial statements and I could see where the problem is in the kitchen. It's amazing. And I get very jazzed about that. And we have a lot of people that are like that. They like to be, look at those details and break it apart. Procurement, inventory supervisor, pastry cook. So my baking and pastry people that are interested, would you say you're detail oriented? Yeah. Baking and pastry, I could spot you a mile away. Very specific personality, skill sets, and if I have a classroom full of students and it's culinary, baking, and pastry, I spot my baking and pastry students immediately. You carry a lot of similarities that fall into this. Operations manager, because you like to see the big picture and how do departments work together. So again, this is just one of the tools that we would use to help you identify your strengths, because you may not realize it. You could say, well, no, that's not me. We'll say, okay, most of the time it is, and we kind of file that away, and then when you start progressing through your classes, and we keep talking to you in career services, and we're like, oh, we get to know you, and you come through professional development, we interview with you, and then we start to discover your personality, your likes, your dislikes, your strengths, and then it comes up to internship, and I say, where do you want to go? Where would you like to conduct your internship? And we start talking about it, and that's why we have you go out and kind of test the waters with a one-day, what we call that stage, to see if it's a good fit for you. And you know what? All of a sudden we'll pull these sheets out towards internship, and we're like, oh, look, it matches to what you really want to do. So part of it is helping you as students discover who you are and what you're going to be good at. Okay, so we always, again, we're here to support you on that. So finding work in Chicago. So we follow this chart. And first of all, what we start with in class is your goals. So if I ask you, does everyone know what they want to do with their degrees? Like, do you have an idea of what you want to do in your career? Veronica, what's your overall goal? See, this is what you get for sitting in the front row. I pick on you. Okay, so I don't look at it as stuck. You have a lot of options. So Veronica says she doesn't know if she wants to work at a restaurant, own her own business, or be a partner in a business. That's great. Those are pretty good goals. So at least you're starting with something. Anybody else want to volunteer what their thoughts are? Michael? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you definitely want to move up. So you already have some experience, and you're shaking your head. Yeah, I know. I need that degree to move forward. I want to take that next level, and then you want to use it to be creative and work for a company. How many people want to own their own place? Yeah, we got a lot of entrepreneurs here at Kendall. We have, incubator programs. So those are things that we foster as well. And some people want to work for big companies. I was always that person. I've always wanted to work for corporations. I like it. To me, there's security. I like that structured environment. And I'm really happy. I'm not an entrepreneur. And I'm so thankful for those of you who are, because I couldn't do it. I don't have the stomach for it. But I'm happy to work for a big company. I'm happy to work for a corporation. Corporations have deep pockets. I get benefits. I get vacation, right? I mean, those are things that bring me comfort, right? So, say that again. Retirement, yeah, boy, yeah. I'm counting the years pretty soon. But yeah, I mean, those are things that you want to, and these are things that we talk about. So, folks, family, and friends here, don't worry. We do talk about the financial benefits. And distractors of owning your own business, working for a company, travel. People want to travel around the world. Who else had their hand up with what they want to do? Great. Mhm. Yeah, great. Don't you get jazzed when stuff like that? I know I did. I do too. I mean, being a restaurant manager, I love that hum of a busy dining room and just the smoothness and how an operation can work. So I get really excited about that. So I certainly get it. So here you're demonstrating entrepreneurial skills, innovative skills, operational skills, right? So we look at that and say, hey, maybe, and you're networking too, right? You're volunteering, so you're networking. Yeah, and again, that's great. That's a resume builder. We show you how to put that on your resume, how to make those connections, how to parlay that. So that's great. So, we always ask, going back to it, we define your goals. Where do you want to be? Who wants to own their own place? Who wants to work at, a Michelin-starred restaurant? Who wants to travel all over the world? Who wants to be in a hotel? Who wants to open their own? We talk about this and we say, okay, how are you going to get there? Let's talk about how you're going to get there. We don't expect you to get that lifelong goal in your first 5 years out of school, but what's a realistic goal? Do you want to have a family? That's something you have to kind of take into account. Will your partner be willing to travel with you to take those risks? You want to have kids. What does it take? So we really do talk about all that, and then we say, okay, let's go backwards. You want to achieve this goal. So if you want to be an executive chef, what position do you have to have before you're an executive chef? You got to be a sous chef. So before you become a sous chef, what do you have to be? a lead cook, and then before that a line cook, right? And then we ask you, like, what kind of executive chef? So this goes back to the type of environment that you would work at. So do you want to be at a Michelin-starred restaurant? Well, you're not going to get there if you're working at Taco Bell, right? So we're going to say, help me connect the dots here. If you want to work at this caliber and you want to be at this level, okay, we know the jobs you have to have. Where should you have those experiences? And we do that with hospitality. I have a lot of students that say, I want to be a GM. Okay. And we do. We have graduates that are GMs. So we'll say, hey, you want to be a GM? What kind of property do you want to be at? We have dozens upon dozens upon dozens of hotels here in Chicago, in the Chicagoland area. You want it, we got it. Okay, we have every level you want. Do you want what we call a big box hotel? Okay, do you want a luxury brand hotel? Do you want a boutique hotel? Do you want to work for a big corporation? Do you want to work for a more independent? What gets you excited? What gets you motivated? And we will help you, but you're not going to be the GM of the Peninsula if you're working at, a TJ Maxx, right? So we're going to say, okay, how do we connect the dots? To be a GM, you probably have to be an assistant GM. And to be that, you have to be a front desk manager. Before you can get to there, you have to be a supervisor. Before that, you have to be a lead agent. Before that, you have to be an agent. Okay, now what quality do you want? What level, what tier do you want to work at? Do you want to work at a Holiday Inn? Great company, huge company all around the world. Do you want to work at, a Four Seasons? Okay. Do you want to work at the Waldorf Astoria? Do you want resorts? What do you want? And if you don't know, that's okay too. We're going to help you. We're going to expose you to a lot of different things, a lot of different opportunities so you can figure it out. Again, this is why we ask that you volunteer and that you go out and you shadow, because you may think you know, and then you have a student go out there and like, I don't like it. I don't like it. And today I had a student, she's a baking and pastry student, and we sat down, we talked, and she's like, I'm switching over to hospitality. And I said, okay, why? She goes, I realized I thought I liked cooking, and then once I actually start doing it, I don't really enjoy it. I'm like, okay, but do you still enjoy the industry? She goes, oh yeah, I want to be part of it. I just don't want to produce the pastries. I'm like, okay, great. We figured it out. We figured it out early. So she's just switching over into the program. Which sometimes happens, and that's okay. We're going to support you, and we're happy that we were able to give her that experience to realize, yeah, I like it, but maybe not this part, so maybe I'll shift. Again, there's a lot of flexibility there, and we'll help you with that. Okay, so we always tell our students we want you to target 20 companies when they start looking for an internship or full-time employment. They're like, 20? We're like, yeah, 20. Cast a wide net, because you never know what's going to happen, right? So maybe their schedules don't tie with our schedules. Maybe they want an intern right now, but you can't start until April. So that's off the books. Or maybe they're not willing to pay you right away. And we get that. Maybe, some internships are unpaid, and maybe you can't do that commitment right now. They're not willing to pay a student. Okay, so now you've knocked out another one. Maybe it's just not maybe it's just, I'm sorry, you had a question? Sure, go ahead.
I want to share, actually, stay-at-home mom. I do a lot of volunteering. So I started taking my kids last year out volunteering, and I actually have a child that like baking and pastry something. He was so nice as well. And she started last Saturday. I'm great. She's doing good time. I'm looking at the thing is just getting the kids on volunteering. They help kids decide what they want.
Thank you. Yeah. So on a side note too, we do have these taste classes here at Kendall too that are kind of just like a one-day thing, so you can do that. So if you're interested in trying that out before you make the full commitment, you can certainly do that. And we do the summer camps, which is what I believe you're referring to, where we have students come in for a week, and it's pretty intense, I'm sure, right? Yeah, so I know when we have our students here, they're loving it, and it's designed for high school students that are interested, and they just want to kind of dip their toe in the water, so to speak, and they really love it. So we talk about these paths that you can take. Do your research. Is this the company that you really want? Why do you think it's a good fit? Get your paperwork together. So again, we help you draft your cover letter, your resume, your reference page, your thank you, and we help support that while you're a student here. After you graduate, we support it. We have those networking events I talked about. We have a great job board that is exclusive to KENDALL. So we have anywhere between 350, 450 opportunities posted on our job board. These are employers coming to us saying, we want to hire students. And it's everything. It's culinary, it's business, it's baking and pastry, it's hospitality, it's early childhood education. And that's where we direct our students to go, and they're able to apply to jobs through there. And they offer full-time positions, part-time positions, volunteer opportunities, seasonal work. They have positions for people that after they graduate, because they're looking for, they may be looking for somebody that has 5-10 years experience already, and they want to have that KENDALL name. So that's something that's certainly available as well. And then of course we do the mock interviews. And again, this is not just for current students, this is for any of our alums as well, is that we will help you with that. And if you follow this, if you follow our guidance, you're going to have success. You're absolutely going to have success no matter what. Okay, so something else that we work on, we call these FAB'S. So it's facts, accomplishments, and benefits. So we talk about what are your facts. I always call the resume the fact sheet. So just give me the facts. And we talk about what are your skill sets. So how many of you work in your chosen industry right now? 1, 2, so just about 6 people. So a lot of you are working in other areas, and when you come to talk to me in career services, they're like, I have no experience. And I'm like, well, of course you do. And that's what our role in career services is to talk about your experiences. So if you work in customer service, and I think almost everybody does at some point, those are transferable skills. And we will help you uncover them, polish them up, and we use that in your resume. Volunteer opportunities. So we know not everybody is going to have experience coming to school. That's one of the reasons why you're coming to school. So we talk about, do you volunteer? Have you won any kind of awards or scholarships? Have you gone out on a stage? And we talk about that, and that's a fact. Those are facts that you've done. Those are accomplishments you've achieved, and we put those on the resume. And then this is where we spin it. What are the benefits that you have to offer to the company? So if a company takes a chance on you, why should they hire you? And I challenge my students, okay, why should I hire you? I'm pretending to be the GM of a hotel or a chef of a restaurant. Why should I hire you? You don't have experience. Tell me why. And I'm gonna make you discover why you're such a desirable candidate. We're going to talk about your passion. We're going to talk about your education. We're going to talk about these volunteer opportunities, these stages. And we're going to get all this on paper, and you're going to be a great candidate. Okay? And you're going to have your choice of positions to be at. Not you're waiting for offers to come in. It's like, which offer do I take? Which offer do I accept? And that's really what we want for you as students. So career services, we're located on the 2nd floor. We're very easy to find. Again, we do teach our own professional development classes. We don't have separate instructors do that. So those of us who teach professional development, we're the ones you're working with. So you work with us from start to finish. So we always love to see you the very first week or 2 of class so that we get to know you, because the more we get to know you, the better your chances are we're going to help you get that job that you want, because I know who you are. But no matter what, you can't hide from me, because you have to take professional development. It's a requirement of all the programs. Again, this is where we differentiate from a lot of other schools, is that it's a requirement. You cannot move on until you get through professional development. You cannot pass professional development until you have perfect paperwork, until you could successfully complete a mock interview. And every single student does it, and they do really well. And a lot of this is just building your confidence as well. We do have internships. Again, those are required, and those are typically at the end of your programs, and you do earn college credit doing that. Your positions are in your field of study, and we do have part-time positions here on campus as well. So again, we're not encouraging you to work full-time. It's really hard. If you want to be successful here, it's a very rigorous program, but we do encourage you to work part-time, and we do have those opportunities, both out in the industry when we go through the job board, and then also here on campus. And then of course we provide resources and support for you throughout your job search. So we support you while you're in school, for your internship, and even after graduation. And you could be anywhere in the world. And you're going to get that support. So we have more than 100 on-campus recruiting events every year. So one of the things we have is we call it a spotlight employer, where we have different employers that are actually calling us up, and they come in during the week, not during finals week, but they come in for, you know, most of the time during the regular school season, and they come in, it's like a one-table job fair, and they come in and they try to recruit our students, and they come in constantly. So we had Wrigley Field rooftops come in yesterday, so everyone was flocking to them, and they're looking for cooks, they're looking for bartenders, they're looking for event planners, they're looking for salespeople. So it goes across a lot of the disciplines, and that's something that we're really happy about, is we try to find employers and bring them in that can take care of all our students across all the disciplines. So it's not, you know, sometimes people think, oh, what could this vinegar company want? Well, we had a vinegar, or I'm sorry, it was an olive oil company. They came in, they were looking to hire culinary students for recipe development. They were looking for baking and pastry students for the same thing. They were utilizing their products in a new, innovative way. They were looking for bartenders, mixologists, because they said, yeah, we're going to kind of try this new thing where you're putting olive oil in beverages. I don't know how well that went over, but it was something that they were looking for. And they said, and we need to have meeting planners, and we need to hire people from the business program because we're going to be expanding and growing our company. So there were so many different opportunities across so many disciplines. We're like, wow. So and you know, they approached us. They said, well, we know that you have all these different areas, and we're really interested in hiring your students. And yeah, some of our students did get some offers, and you know, they're working there, they're doing some internships there. But the possibilities are really endless. So they really are presented here. We do field trips. So I know next week we have students going to the Peninsula Hotel. Has anyone been to the Peninsula here? It's fantastic. It's unbelievable. And they're a big supporter of our students. They were here yesterday interviewing students, and they have to set up a second day because they're like, wow, you know, we want to keep interviewing. So they said, we need to set up another time in a couple of weeks. And again, we have culinary, baking and pastry, hospitality, and any student that's ever worked there loves it. It's a great company. So now they extended the courtesy of inviting us over, so we have one of our professional development classes going over there and getting what we call a back of the house tour, where they're actually going to go to the guest rooms and see the $5,000 a night suite and see the inner workings. And it's a really great opportunity for students. So we constantly have those types of field trips, or they'll go to farms, or they'll go to bakeries and see these different companies. And meeting planning companies coming up as well, they're going to have a tour there. And of course, we do all these workshops in addition to our classes as well. So here are some of the companies that we work with on a regular basis, and this really just scratches the surface. And students certainly aren't limited to this. If you came to us and said, hey, I'm interested in this company, we would reach out and make a connection. And we would make sure that it's a right fit for you. So these are just some, you know, a lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants. Walt Disney World, we have I think we have 2 students right now, 2 students in Walt Disney in Orlando. Great. I mean, it's really awesome. And we're sending anywhere between 2 to 4 students every quarter down there. And it's really great. The pay's really good. Benefits are really great. It's unbelievable. So that chef comes here twice a year to recruit our students. So we have a really good success rate. Of course, we work with, you know, Chicago Public Schools, Head Start, the big restaurant companies, different resorts throughout the country and the world. Yep. For cruise lines. So cruise lines are a little tricky. So like, I'll give you an example with Walt Disney. Walt Disney will not hire just for their cruise line. You have to work for the resort, and then you can get transferred in. And it seems to be that's typical for cruise lines, so it's not impossible. So something else that happens is all the little ships here, they do a lot of seasonal work, so they're hiring. I know that's not quite, you know, like a Carnival cruise or anything, but I know with Disney, their policies, they want you to work for the company a year before you can even interview, because Disney has extremely high standards, and they're very meticulous about that. They've changed that policy because we said, hey, culinary industry, right? I mean, this is something we're adapting. So now they do have a strict policy. You can't have facial tattoos. If you have tattoos, they have to be covered. And they're very explicit about how to do that. And that's something that we were very happy when Chef came back in October. And he's like, okay, we're allowing tattoos. We're like, great, because we got a whole bunch more students now that can interview. So we are starting to see that change. So when Disney made that change, that's pretty significant. So that could be an option for you. Thank you for the question. Okay, so here's some testimonials from some of our students. So we had Zana, who just recently graduated. She works at Tiffany's. Now, this was a job that she pursued it. She goes, I want to work in New York. I want to work at Tiffany's. And we're like, okay. So we've been working, and we got it. We did. She had the skills, great candidate, really bubbly personality, and she is over the moon. But we gave her those skills. We helped her with, where she had the skills, we helped her develop it, and we helped her pursue that. And she was our student speaker at graduation, and it was such a great speech. It was so much fun, and she was just excited. She was already working, and then she had to fly back in to give the speech, and she flew back out. But this was absolutely a dream job for her in New York. And then we have Catherine Graham, and I remember her. She was one of my students. Again, great personality, real hard worker, great team player. So now she's a meetings planner, and she is just thriving. And so she, again, this is a person that a lot of drive, good teamwork, good organizational skills, really take charge kind of person. And this is, again, she's so happy to be doing this and just really, really excited. And then we have Stephen Finney, who, again, not so long ago, Soho House, Chicago. And boy, I've seen this guy develop. He really grew and really matured while he was here. And that's one of the benefits, is that we're able to see students grow and develop and really come into their own. And he certainly did that. So he's really successful. And, students will say, this is a tough program. Yes. Yes, it is. You're paying a lot of money. And we're going to give you everything you need to be successful. It's up to you to do what you want with it. But yeah, we have very high standards. That's why we've been around for such a long time. And you're, as a student, I say, I'm an alum, so you better believe I keep those high standards because you're representing me. You're representing thousands of students. So we maintain that rigor in every aspect of school here. And then we have Deborah Johnson. This is our success story from early childhood education. So she opened up a company that helps support the community. So I really like this story because a lot of our early childhood teachers, they're teachers, they go to school, they may open their own daycare, but she's really giving back to the community, and that goes back to what Kendall's about. So we like to be in our community, we like to support our community, we want to be a leader in our community, and Deborah certainly does that. And so she, we're really proud of her and what she's accomplished here for us. So here are some comments from some of the companies that have hired our employees. So professionalism, we constantly hear. They think our students second to none. They know how to interact not just with customers and guests, but with other professionals, with colleagues. They really know that type of business etiquette that's so important. Dedicated professionals. The skills that they have, the academic knowledge that they have, that they can hit the ground running. So that, they go in, minimal training, they get it. They can they can walk into a situation and they could read it. If a chef, says, hey, I need you to make this sauce, they can do it because they have that skill set. If somebody's going into an accounting department, they said, hey, we need you to look at these financials. Our students are able to read the financials and analyze those financials. If they have someone that, we need you to, solve this customer service issue, the students can jump on that right away. They're aware of how to handle it, how to deal with customers, how to resolve that conflict. So we do certainly encourage and nurture that. And yeah, enthusiastic. I mean, I love what I do. I've been doing this a long time, and I don't regret a day of it. I have my moments, I'm not going to lie, but I love what I do. I would never do anything else. And that eagerness and the enthusiasm, we want that to last a whole lifetime. And that's what we think we give you here at KENDALL. So we have two of our alums. So we have Jessica, who's one of our graduates, and then we also have Dominique. So if you wouldn't mind coming up. Don't be shy. Don't be shy now. So I'll let you.
Okay. My name is Jessica. I'm a graduate from a class of 2014. I was hospitality management. Should I continue on with? Okay. So I was doing the Disney College program in 2012, and that's when I realized that I love hospitality and that I can make a career out of it. So that was down in Orlando. So when I finished my college program at Disney, I came back to Chicago and I Googled the best hospitality school in Chicago, and it led me to KENDALL. So I enrolled right away. And so I started that in January 2013. So I had already completed an associate's degree at a community college, so I just needed to do 2 more years. But KENDALL definitely made me very well-rounded. I started with like some culinary classes, definitely like accounting for revenue management, event planning, which was my minor. So just being here at KENDALL was just a great atmosphere. Everyone was very encouraging. All the professors I still talk to and are like friends on Facebook with. So it's kind of a small school compared to other big universities, but I like that the most about it because every day I saw all my friends, like everyone was in the same class and we kind of like moved through those 2 years together. So it was really nice to have that support system. And career services did help me a lot as well, making sure my resume always looked good and giving me tips for now in the future if I want to revise it a little bit. But they're always still there to help. If I want to send someone my resume back here at KENDALL, they can fix it up for me. They're always here to help with job opportunities as well. Currently, I'm a travel agent, but I just got a new job as a flight attendant for American Airlines, which I'm really excited about. So I feel like KENDALL definitely gave me the confidence to just go out and chase after what I really want to do with my life. So I'm starting April 9th and I'm really excited, and I know I couldn't have done it without all of everything I've learned from KENDALL with customer service and professionalism. So that's my story. Thank you.
Congratulations. My name is Dominique. I graduated from the business program here a year ago in March of 2017. I'm actually an international student. I came here from Germany and I did my associates at a community college, Oakton Community College out in the burbs. And then I transferred here to get my bachelor's degree. I worked with Deb and Kristen on the career services team while I was here, and they gave me a really good experience seeing everything from a different perspective. I was able to utilize all the resources that they were giving students at career services and see it from the other side too. So it was a great way for me to do all the schoolwork here, but also enhance my professionalism while attending school. My internship while I was here, I did at a radio station, which may seem a little unusual going in the business field, but it was actually a really great experience. I had a lot of marketing experience, I had a lot of event experience, and I had a lot of admin experience at the job, and they actually hired me on afterwards, and I'm currently employed with them as a promotions assistant team lead. That's my part-time job, and then as of recently, I have actually accepted a position at a restaurant in the West Loop. I'm currently a floor manager at a restaurant called Roniero, and if I had not attended KENDALL but any other school, I'm pretty sure I would have not reached the management position at that restaurant as fast as I did, because I started off as a hostess there, and in a matter of 2 months, they actually promoted me to be the floor manager. They kind of saw just the potential and the professionalism and the skill set that I got from KENDALL College while I was at school here. And it's a really great place. You may think, like Jennifer said, that it's a smaller school and you may not have that big college feel. But at the end of the day, I think it really gives you a more realistic experience of what it's going to be like after school in your everyday life, because you are actually going to need all of these skills that they teach you here. I remember when I was here, a lot of the students were complaining about the dress code that we had to follow here. But it's really a great thing to learn while you're at school. You may think you don't need it because it's just class that you're attending. But if you're going out to your job, you're going to have to look professional. And if you look professional, you're going to feel like you have to act professional. So it's just like little things that you learn here and you have to get used to on a daily basis. That's just a really good and realistic preparation for your professional life.
Does anybody have any questions for Jessica and Dominique?
So there is student housing. I personally did not take advantage of that. I had a roommate in Lakeview, so I had a really easy commute with the 8 Halsted bus just down here. But there is student housing available, and I know a lot of students do that, and it's a great way also, you know, to socialize with some students and study together, but that is available. I don't know what you were doing while you were at school. Oh, okay.
Any other questions? Yep.
Okay. Yes, I was a part of Seed Club, which is the students encouraging environmental decisions. Sorry, I had to remember that. And actually, I was up on the 7th floor, and I saw something that we accomplished when I was here. We adopted a rainforest. We raised money during Earth Week, and I just saw that they still have it upstairs, so that was pretty cool. But I was involved with that, and I also did work here too. I know Deb mentioned that you can work on campus, and I highly suggest it. They have a lot of positions. I did banquets, which was really fun, and then also student life as well. So it makes it easy because you're here already at school, so you could just go right to work. So.
I was not technically involved in a club, but I did participate in the James McGuire business competition, which was an amazing experience also because we were the first team to participate in that competition. And in a matter of 2 months, which all the other teams were given a year, we came together and set up this really cool green program, a recycling program, and ended up cutting 2nd place worldwide. And then after participating, they actually started doing a competition club here. I don't know if that's still around. But yeah, there's definitely things that you can participate in extracurricularly. And I encourage everyone to take advantage of that because at the end of the day, if you do present your resume to a potential company, they're going to look at, yes, how you've performed in school, but they're also going to take a really close look at what you've been doing besides from that and how much effort and time you've been putting into things that weren't required, like not required coursework, but something that you wanted to do on your own.
Any other questions? Yeah. So going back to the experiences, you know, again with the competitions, it was no small accomplishment what Dominique accomplished with her group. But those are things that, yeah, we encourage in career services to do that. And again, on our website, we always have those volunteer opportunities. We always have companies coming up, hey, we got competition. Would your students be interested? And how does that really parlay into getting great positions? Because it's not just about going to school, but it's all this extra stuff. And our faculty definitely goes above and beyond, and they volunteer, and they head up different organizations and volunteer opportunities as well to go out into the community. And something that you heard Jessica say too is, about in the seed group, and then we're very green here, and even Dominique with her project. That's something we really like to lead too. So the school as a whole, we try to be a leader in being a sustainable school. So we have a garden, and we try to recycle everything. And really, if you've been in the kitchen classes, there's very little garbage here, very little. So we always try to compost and recycle and be thoughtful in our purchasing decisions because that's something that's real. So KENDALL really is a leader in that, and we try to instill that in our students, and through clubs, through competitions, so that they can take care of our world as well. Any other questions? Okay. Well, I have a question. What was your biggest challenge while you were a student here at KENDALL?
I would say capstone. I don't know if you guys covered that at all today, but capstone is a senior project where everyone is broken into groups. It's culinary, business, and hospitality all coming together to compete against each other, I guess. They make business plans and develop a hotel and restaurant concept. And over the course of 6 months, they put it all together. And then at the end, we have a big trade show. So like friends and family are welcome to come vote. And then also professors vote and stuff. Like they have to present to them their business plan and everything. So for that, I was a meeting planner. So I got to put on the trade show. So I didn't have to compete, but it definitely was a challenge. I took it upon myself to apply for the CEO position because you also have positions during it, like it's a real life thing. So I was the CEO of meeting planners, and that was a huge responsibility. I had a team of 15 that I had to manage to make sure that we put this trade show on successfully. So that was 6 months of very hard work, and my mom at the end was so tired of me here talking about capstone. She couldn't wait for it to be over because I just kept talking about it. It like really became my life. But it was a great challenge that I'm glad they made us go through. It was definitely a good part of the curriculum.
My personal biggest challenge was probably the competition I was in. Not just because we had such a short time frame of accomplishing everything that we needed to accomplish, but at the time that I was participating in the competition, I was also working on campus, going to school full time, and trying to apply for a scholarship. So I was just doing everything at once. It was very challenging for me, but luckily I got the support from my professors and from the career services team and also from my other students to face all those challenges and accomplish everything that I wanted to accomplish.
Any other questions? Okay. I want to thank you for coming out tonight on this cold night. Why couldn't it be like the other day when it was 60? But can't control that. Yeah, question. So maybe our enrollment advisors. Yeah, so we do offer scholarships, not just us, but also in the industry. So we certainly bring that to the forefront. We have a great financial aid department. They're awesome, and they constantly, we are sending emails like crazy. Hey, there's free money out there. So we encourage that because it's out there and you can get it. And sometimes it's just a matter of writing an essay. It can be really quick. So we have a variety of different scholarships that would be available. So that's something you could take advantage of as well. Yeah, we don't want you to be stressed out. Your classes will stress you out now. Any other questions? Okay, well, I'll hang out here for a little bit longer. So if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate. I know our enrollment advisors will be here as well. And again, it was a pleasure having you here, and don't hesitate if you have any questions. Yep. How many students per class? So we try to have no more than 16. Kind of depends on the class. Lecture classes, obviously we'll put more students in. But for the kitchen classes, we try to keep it down to 16 because then you're not going to get that one-on-one instruction. Okay, good question. Thank you. Great. Okay, have a good night, everybody. Thank you.